I would like to call to order the Board of Trustees meeting for November 19th, 2019. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone this evening. I see we again have some visitors from the local schools, so I will continue to do my, try to explain what we're doing here for you a little bit. Start the meeting by calling it to order, and I'm now going to ask for a roll call.
Trustee Chamberlain. Here. Trustee Clayton.
Here.
Trustee Goldstein. Trustee Haber. Trustee Hollander.
Here.
Trustee Jamerson.
Here.
President Norris.
Here. Daphne, Rick's taking care of it right now, but for the rest of the board as well. We had somebody out. The new batteries only charge up to about 7 amps, which is just enough for the light to come on and then fall off later, which is why they've gone off. I've tried to put out enough of the charging units that if you need to plug it in, you can make them work that way. Some of the units may actually have batteries that still seem to work, but we should be able to make it where everybody can be heard. Okay, we take the roll so that we can make sure who's here. We also have to have what's called a quorum, which in the state of Illinois for a board like ours is defined as half of the people who are on the board. So there have to be 3 people here. We have more than that, so we have a quorum, which means we can do business. First item on the roll call, or excuse me, on the agenda is approval of minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting from November 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or corrections?
Yes. There was a line in here regarding Trustee Chamberlain during the approval of the Thorngate resident for the Plan Commission, and I'm just going to strike it because it was incorrect. I reviewed the video, and she just recognized that he was from Thorngate rather than saying he will do a good job.
He might do a great job.
Right. She
But
just
I don't
didn't
know.
say that.
Okay. Taking the motion to approve to include that change, are there any other additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. You'll notice that I needed a motion for that approval, although as the president I get to run the meeting, I have the agenda, etc. For the board to do anything, there has to be what's called a motion, and that has to be seconded and then it gets voted on. All right, now we're going to go through some reports. Village ecologist is not here this evening. Treasurer's report. I don't see any of our treasury people here. You do have the information in your packet. You can see that we have still moved a little better from where we've been. I think that's an aberration. It's going to go down as we get some more bills in. But right now, the general fund has increased, as have all the others. Engineers report.
After a pretty substantial amount of difficulty, we did finally finish the patching work on the village streets. I know that a number of you received phone calls from various upset residents. I'm fairly certain that next year I will suggest that we not go through the municipal partner initiative and bid our patching work the way we have traditionally, because it did not work out well this year. It is finally done. That's all I have.
Are there any questions for the village engineer? All right, Director of Community Services report.
government demolished the outbuilding that's down. And good news, that will be reseeded in woodland mixture, so we're adding to the amount of woodlands in the village. Strictly the building, not any of the circular driveway that's still staying paved. And the area around is going to be paved. Secondly, we're over 99% again for compliance for our RPZs, our backhoe prevention devices. So really good news there. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Rob? All right, moving on then, zoning board of appeals did not meet. You should know that the one meeting we thought we were going to have has been withdrawn, and the resident has moved to the shed, or at least taken down the shed that was encroaching, and apparently is going to be moving it. Planning commission report?
There are two packets, two reports actually in the packet. One relates to the approval of an amendment for a health and wellness store. We have the petitioners here, we have the ordinance in the packet. The other report was for text amendments to the zoning ordinance, and I think we have the ordinance in the packet, so we can address both of these issues later rather than now. The only other thing I would mention is that I put out completed a revision of the contract for Thornton's and sent that out last week. And I've been trying to get the attorney for Thornton's to get back to me now, see if we can narrow some of our differences. I think one of the issues, we don't have to decide anything, I just wanted to sort of mention this to the board. Thornton's would like to do a certain amount of street work in order to have a full signal. The chicken and egg is that the work that they would do is likely to be duplicative of work that Lake County would do 2 years later. Not at Thornton's expense necessarily, but as part of the project. So one of the issues we've been trying to figure out is how do you solve for this? Maybe there are some interim improvements that they can do before the county comes in. But I suspect one of the reasons they haven't been rushing is they realize there's a timing issue here. So as soon as I have more on that, I think maybe Pat and I and whoever's the team here, the committee, will probably need to sit down with Lake County Public Works or Department, DOT, and try and figure out how to stage this so that it makes sense.
I understand as a private developer, they're going to have a hard time getting the county to prepay them. But as another governmental agency, if they sign a contract with us, is it possible for us to assist them to get the improvements done and then have the county reimburse us?
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to suggest, that we might consider that. I think for a number of reasons, if we can provide assistance like that and be reimbursed, it might be easier for us to do that from the general fund rather than as an advancement to the TIF fund. The reason is that they don't want the entire project to necessarily be governed by prevailing wage, and so they've suggested that we try and bifurcate the expenditures that we might potentially reimburse. The precedents aren't very clear that you can have the project be half of one and half of another, so depending on what we find out about staging this, we might come back and suggest to the board that we think about giving assistance of this nature from the general fund, worry about how to get reimbursed elsewhere, and not necessarily run through as a TIF obligation.
And while I find that very plausible, I am very concerned about doing the work without making sure the county agrees to pay us back.
Right.
Because I'm sure the county would be more than willing to let us do it. And then say, thank you very much. Why should we bother paying you now that it's done? So hopefully we've been on a pretty good relationship with them and something can be worked out there. But I do believe that it's in our interest to try and accommodate the buyer here if at all possible, given the sales tax revenue potentially involved. Are there any questions in relation to the Plan Commission report? All right, police report?
The police activity is in the packet on the screen, and I just have the emergency operation plan updated.
Which people have been good enough to read, which is rather remarkable considering we have 283 pages tonight or something like that, and most of it is Bruce's updated plan. All right, village attorney's report? Nothing other than we have, okay. Moving on then, information items. One, you have in your packet next year's schedule for meetings. At the next meeting, I'll want to approve that because we have most of that ahead of time on schedule. If there are any dates in there that cause problems, let's figure it out. I noted both election day and the high holidays, which sometimes cause a problem, but I don't think they should cause a problem this year. So these dates may actually stand. We don't see the conflict with any holidays anywhere, as we often have. The other item is one that just happened yesterday. We received notice of a lawsuit filed against us by Cordoy's office alleging wrongful action on our part, mainly because firefighters at the Lincolnshire Riverwoods Fire District treated somebody at the Riverside home who choked on some food, and the firefighters are alleged not to have rendered proper care in an expeditious fashion, etc. This has happened before. Plaintiffs' lawyers don't always really check to see who's who, and even though their pleadings have acknowledged that the fire district is its own municipal entity, they still throw us in just to be safe. You can tell I'm a lawyer, I'm a defense lawyer, and it's terrible, but defense lawyers got paid to get rid of these, so I suppose I'm not as sympathetic as I should be, which I shouldn't say with our insurance rep out here, but we will get rid of it, I'm sure. We have no exposure, repeat, no exposure, but I did want everybody to be aware of that. That said, are there any visitors wishing to address the board? Yes, sir. If you come over there. Normally we have a 3-minute limit. We don't hold strict to it. It's not like there's going to be a big hook and pull you off stage.
Okay, that'll be enough. Is my volume okay or is it loud?
I got it.
Okay.
We'll turn it down. We have a problem between the two sets of microphones.
Okay, is this better?
Perfect.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Carson Zell. I am a junior at Stevenson High School, and I'm also part of the school's Catalyst Club, which is an organization of youth dedicated to substance abuse prevention, primarily among youth and young adults. And over the past few years, I have actually advocated against the commercialization of marijuana in the state of Illinois because I believe that enabling the commercial marijuana industry to sell recreational product would be harmful to the community at large, but particularly to youth. And even though legislators in Illinois have decided to move forward with the commercialization of marijuana, I believe that our communities can still reduce the negative impact that recreational marijuana will have on our communities by opting out of recreational marijuana sales. And I want to start by looking at Colorado, where they've had legal marijuana for many years now. And if we compare 2014 to 2015, in Denver County, Colorado, the number of marijuana-related offenses within 1,000 feet of schools more than quadrupled. That's around when they were legalizing marijuana. And since then, this number has not gone down. What this shows us is that Colorado, even though marijuana sales were not allowed to minors, it was not able to prevent recreational marijuana from affecting schools and from affecting youth. And I think that we can all agree that this is a negative. The reason why Colorado was not able to prevent marijuana from affecting youth is not simply because it's legal, because youth can't buy product, recreational marijuana anyway. The reason is because of the actions of the commercial marijuana industry itself. This is an industry that publicly states that its goal is to normalize marijuana. It wants its product to seem more safe for use and more normal when it is in fact more dangerous because THC levels are only rising, increasing the health risks. And the industry normalizes its product, not only by creating fun products and fruity flavored products that it advertises both in-store and online, but also simply by being in our communities. Because when we are passing these establishments on a day-to-day basis in our lives, their product, the product that they sell, automatically seems more normalized without any action of their own, but even though they do have plenty of actions to normalize the product further. I spoke with a teen from Washington State where marijuana is also legal this past summer, and she said to me, I know a lot of good athletic and academic kids that would never buy marijuana from a drug dealer, but would buy it or ask their older friend to buy it from a dispensary. So the perception of risk is certainly lowered simply because the commercial marijuana industry is attempting to normalize their product and they are in our communities. But the product they sell is only more dangerous. So what we'll be seeing is usage rates for youth going up in our communities, and I believe this to be a major problem. And with that, I urge you to consider opting out of allowing recreational marijuana dispensaries in the village of Riverwoods. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your statement. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Oh, sorry. Yes, please come up.
Hello? Is it working?
It's working.
Okay, is the volume right?
Oh, we can go fix it over here.
I'll take care of it.
Good evening, my name is Maya Gopal, and I'm a sophomore at Stevenson High School. I'm part of Stevenson's Catalyst Club as well, which is a club dedicated to preventing youth drug use. Throughout my time at Catalyst, I have been passionate about actually advocating against the legalization and commercialization of marijuana in Illinois. However, due to recent events in which state lawmakers decided to move forward with legalization this past June, and based on the information I had gathered and studied, I believe the best thing for our communities to do is opt out of recreational marijuana sales. I believe all villages share in their desire to create and maintain a safe and family-friendly environment for their residents. I also believe in order to maintain this environment, it is necessary to create policies that discourage businesses and activities that threaten the public safety for present and future residents. Allowing a retail marijuana dispensary in our community would certainly be a policy that threatens the safety of not only individuals, but the collective community as well. Having a retail marijuana dispensary would undoubtedly infringe upon public safety, especially the road safety of our residents. In Colorado, for example, between 2013 and 2017, the number of traffic-related deaths where a driver tested positive for marijuana more than doubled. If we were to allow marijuana into this community, we can expect to see a sharp increase in many more THC-impaired drivers and fatalities and injuries that come with that. I believe the communities also pride themselves on being family-friendly. This too would be threatened by a retail marijuana dispensary. A recent study found that a greater number of medical marijuana storefronts in a community actually led to an increase in marijuana usage among young adults. We expect the issue of teen marijuana usage to also grow exponentially with the implementation of the recreational, let alone commercialization industry. When future generations become teens, they will have grown up in a world where marijuana has always been legal. Their perception of risk will be significantly lower than it is among teens today, and having a retail marijuana dispensary would only regularize marijuana more, further contributing to the problem of underage drug use and not benefiting the family friendliness of our local neighborhoods. So because of this, I ask you to consider opting out of retail marijuana dispensaries in Riverwoods. If you make an impulsive decision now and allow this industry into your community, the results are expected to be destructive and devastating. It would be difficult to remove current dispensaries in your community, and because of this, we ask you not to make an impulsive decision and put people before profits and not allow dispensaries to open their doors in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you as well for a very well-stated argument. Anyone else? This time I'm going to try to look around. Yes, please come on.
Hello, my name is Alyssa and I'm a senior at Stevenson High School. I am also here as a part of our Catalyst Club, which is a club that advocates for substance abuse prevention amongst all ages, but specifically amongst youth. In this community, I am advocating for Riverwoods to opt out of having a recreational marijuana dispensary. For starters, a recent study from Oregon found that marijuana dispensary density was linked to a greater usage rate amongst 11th graders. With more dispensaries remaining prevalent in an area, the more accessible these products are to youth and the easier access they will have to potentially possess recreational marijuana. As a community, the goal is to prevent youth from obtaining this access, so it is vital to make this process of making recreational marijuana available as difficult as possible. In terms of the financial aspects, although we don't know how much money we will make from a marijuana dispensary, we know that marijuana usage will likely increase local usage rates, which increases the amount of hospital visits, workplace absenteeism, and injuries. These are all costs associated with a local dispensary. To reiterate, for the safety and security of our community, it's important that we opt out of having a recreational marijuana dispensary in Riverwoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have one more? No? Okay. Would you please be good enough to make sure that our recorder over here has your last names, because I think you all used first names only. She needs to
I
have
got
your last
Carson
names.
Zell.
Yes.
Maya, I don't know your last name.
Gopal, G-O-K-A-L.
G-O-P-A-L. And Alyssa?
Shaq, S-H-A-C-K.
Thank you. Can I also ask you to spell Alyssa? There's many spellings.
A-L-Y-S-S-A.
Thank you. I have an I in there as well.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else wish to address the board? Hearing none, we move on to approval of bills. Do I have a motion for approval of bills?
So moved.
Second. Questions? I think we need to pass trustee Hebers down to. You did already, thank you, Rick. Just so you know, what I was referring to, again, is the bills are all reviewed, not only by my staff, but also by each of the trustees have certain responsibilities. So they're looked at by several individuals to make sure that we are getting properly billed, etc. So, Jill?
I signed all of my bills, but there are two that have been attributed to the incorrect account. I'm not sure of the correct account, but Davy Tree, they're under ecologist, and they should be under ecologist. One has to do with Timbers Lift Station, and the other is hazardous tree, so it might be grounds.
Yes, the one around the lift station would have been ours with grounds maintenance, yes.
So I'll turn,
Shouldn't have been sued here because they compared the lift station and they had to do the.
Good point.
that's what
That's a good point, rather than grounds, because it's a specific, that does make sense, so yes, let's do that this year.
so I'm going to turn both of these to the side.
Type, we'll check in the morning, make sure you get everything. So are there any other?
Well, I don't have a question about the actual bill, but since I was signing trustee Haber's bills, came across the one for ComEd, which I believe is for the streetlights in the village. And I don't have a question about the cost, but I believe that all of the streetlights in the village are of not the current standard, which is LED, which should save us money on an energy standpoint. And I don't know who we would talk to about getting them changed, but that's a ComEd thing, and I'd be happy to take care of that if someone would just tell me who the person is.
And I'll be happy to let you take care of it, and I'll make sure that we get you the name on that.
There was Darren Brown. You had the meeting.
Right. Yeah, I have Darren's information if he's still the guy.
Well, he is still the legislative and governmental contact, so
I'll start with him.
he still has some legislation he wants us to say nice things about, so
Sure he does. Okay,
that always helps.
I'll talk to Darren.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Chamberlain?
Aye.
Trustee Clayton?
Aye.
Trustee Goldstein? Trustee Haber? Trustee Hollander?
All right,
Trustee Jamerson?
Aye.
All right, bills are approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to the action items in the agenda, the first item of business is approval of the insurance contract for 2020. As I noted, We had two companies that responded to Alliance request for proposals. One was our current carrier, and the other was Travelers Insurance. Travelers is actually the lower cost premium, but they don't provide the same support in the way of training and risk management that I see in GT, I think I got that right, provides. I know that the chief is especially interested in that training. He utilizes it extensively. The village council also uses their resources. We're fortunate that one of their attorneys is just down the building from him, so he's helped with the personnel manual and other things from them. So while the premium is less, we are recommending that we go with our current carrier. Kathy Jurisic is here tonight if you would like her to answer any questions about how it was shopped or anything like that. But I think it's pretty straightforward. Really, the only question is if you agree with our recommendation to go with the carrier that, while slightly more expensive, provides, we think, more valuable assistance in other areas. Mike?
Just a quick question. I was kind of surprised not to see a bid from the Illinois Municipal League Risk Management Association. Do we have a history with them, or?
Kathy, Kathy can better answer that for you.
Sure. And I actually did prepare a statement, but so Kathy Jurisic, Easley, I am with Alliant Mesero Insurance Services. We did approach 10 carriers. IML, or the Illinois Municipal League Risk Management, was not one of those. We find that, I understand there was a relationship there in the past, but we find that there are many better options available to the village and to our clients. In terms of both coverage and services, the two, as the mayor mentioned, the two finalists, ICRT, who is service heavy, and then also Travelers, who provided for the second year in a row very aggressive premium. And we arranged actually to an interview with the Travelers representatives so that the village could come, or so the village could directly ask their questions, learn of the services available. And going farther than what your question was.
Thank you.
Sure.
Chief, did you want to make a comment?
In addition to the training, one of the services they also provide is they have legal people who will review our general orders policies, which I do send them regularly. I've sent them dozens over the last few years. And the grant risk policies. Just before we went with them, I completely did my reuse of force policy and sent that to an attorney, and I think that cost me like something like $1,500 to have it reviewed. And they've reviewed 30 or 40 of them already for us since then. So that's included.
You anticipated.
Sorry,
Do any of the, I looked through it, I wasn't able to find it. Do any of the policies include costs in case our computers or IT is held hostage?
Yes, both proposals. We've actually proposed a separate carrier from the two primary carriers for that cyber liability insurance, because we can purchase that from the specialized carrier for less expensive premium for broader coverage.
And do they provide any preventive programs that we might be able to make use of?
Fairly limited, because it is a very kind of off-the-shelf, low-cost piece.
Thank you.
we did talk with both carriers on that issue, and Eric is a resident that I owe some information to when we're trying to do what we can, because while carriers might give us the money if it was, say, ransomware, we still have a problem of having to deal with it, which would management elements, because I'm a firm believer in not having the loss in the first place. Both of these companies are good insurance companies, so it has nothing to do with the coverage in that sense. So, Bruce, you look like you're ready to say something.
I was just going to ask Kathy to remind us that Alliant does this kind of insurance brokerage for how many municipalities?
We're the largest writer of municipality insurance in the state of Illinois. I don't have an exact number for you, but we write business in the state from the smallest of mosquito abatement districts all the way up to counties and state level, and many municipalities such as yourselves.
So just to give context to how they solicited bids and do their comparison.
And when we left the Illinois Municipal League, we got a great reduction. So that's part of what we looked, and so we didn't rush back as long as we had a number of bids. One of the reasons we were with them in the first place is we had such a high workers' comp history that they were the only ones who would insure us for a while, so we sort of limited.
Question on the loss control and policy review services. Is that something you do, or is it something, because Travelers says limited loss control services?
Right, that's a part of the program through ICRMT, your current carrier. So there's a number of different services, but there's one in particular consultant that the chief can call specifically for law enforcement questions, and it's a very hands-on team of services. So there's that. There's an open door. I think the mayor referred to an open door legal for employment practices issues, which is conveniently located near the village attorney's office, as well as there are other things that are involved as well, including they offer within the premium, so at no additional charge, they will do property appraisals once every 3 years. So that was right after we moved to them. They came out and did property appraisals to all of the buildings in the village, so they'll do that every 3 years at no additional charge.
And do you review the work comp loss runs?
Yes.
The chief?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So you would do that regardless of who we went with, right? That
Right.
falls under you.
Yes.
I should point out that they were very handy on the personnel level. You may remember some time ago, we had to terminate an employee who was also a village resident, and that raised questions of potential free speech issues, which made life a little difficult for us. So it was very nice to have the extra help available. So are there any other questions? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Can I make one concluding
Okay.
statement? I'm sorry.
Sorry, Kathy, you've come out this far. You can have as much time as you want.
I just wanted to point out that through our marketing process, we have two options that are actually lower in rate than the expiring program. And noting that a reduction in rate in this current marketplace is quite unusual. We're seeing hardening in the insurance marketplace in general, and specifically in the public entity area. And recognizing that this result is a direct result of the village's commitment to safety and loss prevention and your efforts to utilize the available resources. So you all are doing a fantastic job. So thank you.
To approve the ICRMT proposal for $108,504.
Second.
All right, further discussion? Yes.
108, comma, 504.
That's where it says on here.
Yes. All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Clayton?
Aye.
Trustee Goldstein? Trustee Haber? Trustee Hollander?
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson?
Aye.
Trustee Chamberlain?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Kathy, thank you. If you want to go home, you're perfectly welcome. Next item of business is an ordinance amending the text of Riverwood zoning ordinance pertaining to cannabis dispensaries and certain uses under the mixed-use plan development regulations. Council?
You're only looking for a first reading tonight on this. On page 38 of the packet, there's an error in there, it's my fault. The vote was unanimous in favor of this. It was, one of the PAC commissioners voted no. So I should indicate, what the actual vote was. I'll get together, Jerry, get the vote. Commissioner Blaylock voted no. So I should correct that. And also, Dave Newman of Computer and I suggested that I include in the report, he wanted to include that there were approximately 6 residents who appeared at the hearing. Just if you want me to, before considering the first reading, just to go through the report briefly, as it says, we considered 3 matters really at the hearing. 3 recommendations came out of the hearing. One was to include a definition of a cannabis dispensary to the zoning ordinance. Whether this board or a future board wants to potentially allow it or prohibit it, it's helpful to have the term of art so we know what it is we're prohibiting. One of the things that we're disadvantaged with is we don't have a term to actually describe it. So one of the things is the zoning ordinance would now have a definition. The text amendment was adopted that describes what a cannabis dispensary is. I didn't think it was necessary for us to have definitions for 5 or 6 other elements that are in the 600-page law, because we're not going to have cultivators and processing plants and diffusers. None of that is possible within the confines of the village. So I thought just to keep it simple, if we wanted simply to have the ability to regulate cannabis dispensary one way or another, let's have it as a term of art to define it. This is a definition that mirrors many other communities in the new law, just in terms of what it is. However, at the Plan Commission, we added a clause to this definition. If you look at the definition about 5 lines from the end, the cannabis dispensary, if legally entitled to operate pursuant to this title, shall not authorize or permit the smoking, consumption, or use of cannabis in any form within or about the facility. And then it goes on further to say, cannabis dispensary shall not constitute a permitted or special use in any district of the village unless expressly authorized in this title. So making clear that we have a definition. The term cannabis dispensary doesn't authorize any kind of facility that allows on-site consumption, and there can be no implicit or there can be no implied permission to have a dispensary anywhere in the village unless it's expressly authorized. So I think we packed a lot into the definition. The other changes in the text amendment, one is, I hope not controversial. We were looking at mirroring the uses between shops and public court, and I realized that we can have ice cream stores listed in shops, which struck me as tragedy. And the third change is basically to add the definition for a new type of use in shops, which you'll see mirrored in the Plan Commission report on the request by the petitioners for a health and wellness store. Here I'd just like to look at the definition and mention they offer products for sale at retail, which may include products containing cannabidiol, which is also called CBD. However, a health and wellness store shall not sell products that are permitted to be sold only by a licensed cannabis dispensary. So that's one example of how we make use of having a defined term. Or which require a tobacco license from the state of Illinois. We're told that if you don't have a tobacco license, you can't offer tobacco, but you can't offer e-cigarettes and vaping supplies. Also, we've said that a health and wellness store that offers products containing CBD shall not give away or sell such products to any person under 18 years of age. Both of these conditions were conditions that the actual petitioner, of course, in the other hearing, suggested as reasonable conditions that they would be happy to live with. So that we use these as a way of defining but also constraining what a health and wellness store is. The final change in the text amendment is not adding, it looks like we're adding a definition again of cannabis mixed-use plan development regulations, a cannabis dispensary would be allowable only through the more complex procedure of the special use hearing and finding that the standards for special uses are satisfied, in particular for that use. So we have a couple of uses like that within the mixed-use plan development, regs, and that require a higher level of oversight. And so the text amendment would suggest placing that use in that category. Finally, just in the discussion section, there's some materials here. The definition of what makes something CBD and what makes something cannabis or marijuana that we can buy is found in the federal statutes. There's a definition for industrial hemp that limits the concentration to not more than 0.3% on a dry weight basis. I provided the site and the reference in the Plan Commission report. And I also, after some digging around for a long time, found what I thought was probably the most succinct statement of how CBD products are actually regulated. Because they're not considered controlled substances, and because as long as the products contain lower than the concentration of the THC, they can be sold. The question is what then governs their purity, how they're sold, how they're marketed, and the answer, according to the Congressional Research Service, is that the Food and Drug Administration believes that they have authority to regulate that. They haven't issued a lot of regulations yet, but if you've seen this memo that's attached to the packet, the Food and Drug Administration is, I think, researching how and what it wants to do to regulate CBD products. So I think it will be handled at the federal level. So that's the gist of the Plan Commission report. The text amendment that follows then would just be the manner of implementing those recommendations from the Plan Commission. This particular report was voted on what was the vote? I don't have it. This was the vote that, or there was one dissentient vote. Yes.
Okay, one, are there any questions for Bruce? Two, I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah, I know. Well, the order coming from Henry is so very good.
In section 4, the definition of a cannabis dispensary, this is just a question. The kinds of things that are laid out in there in terms of restriction on site and interior lighting and parking and loading facilities and building security are heavily regulated by the state. So do we need to make it clear that what we're reserving is the right to impose regulations that are in addition or in the excess of the ones that are regulated by the state?
I don't think we have to make it clear in the language here. I think when we draft such restrictions, we will have to be governed by what is probably a changing sea of what is allowed and not. The advice we're getting is that we can adopt regulations that are not inconsistent with the state. So many of these regulations are traditional zoning concern, and I think there will be some testing of the waters in terms of how far home units and property can go. So rather than box ourselves in, I just thought we would put in, we can't impose restrictions. We won't do it if it's in violation of state law, but we don't know what they are.
Any other questions? We're having first reading. One, I think this is an important enough issue. You've already seen several people tonight. When it was only first reading, we've had comment. Second, one of our residents, Dr. Susan Sirota, who is a pediatrician on staff at Northwestern, addressed the Plan Commission, and she has asked to be able to address the board as well, which I think is, again, appropriate. I would imagine everybody here shares my feeling we want to make an informed decision as to where we're going with all of this.
On that subject, at the plan commission meeting, I had requested a copy of the presentation in advance of the meeting. Is it possible to get that?
I will ask for it again, I have not received it. She did indicate at that time she would be happy to supply. So with that said, do I have a motion for first reading?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of having first reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First reading is approved. Item C, an ordinance amending ordinance number 79-5-11 as amended concerning the uses allowed in their special use permit for Colonial Court Shopping Center. Council?
In this case, there's another report from the Plan Commission, so we had basically back-to-back hearings that night. The representatives of Alternative Wellness Group are here tonight. Jay Presser, say hello, and Semyon Popov. Did I say that correctly? They are proposed tenants of Colonial Court Shopping Center. They have the lease with the landlord. Their company is called Alternative Wellness Group, Inc. They do business as Live CBD.
Livermore.
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 Thank you. Well, you should get up in a minute for up here, right? Anyway, now that you've had the background of the text amendment, essentially we repeat some of the information here in this report that still has its own footing to stand on. But Colonial Court has a series of ordinances that enumerate the number of uses that are allowed in the shopping center. It did not have a use that would allow the sale of products containing CBD. So the suggestion at the Plan Commission hearing was to amend those ordinances to add health and wellness stores with the same definition you just saw in the text amendment that would have gone into the mixed-use plan development regulations. This shopping center just happens to be regulated under a different set of ordinances. The Plan Commission did vote unanimously recommend approval of this amendment, and all the amendment would do is add that defined use as one of the enumerated uses for Colonial Court. The Plan Commission did hear a lot of testimony from the petitioners about how they intend to operate. They're the ones who suggested the conditions that they will not be selling any cannabis products, they will not sell any products with prior tobacco license, and they will be not selling any CBD products to someone under 18 years of age, all of which we've embodied in the recommended amendment.
Gentlemen, would you care to make some remarks?
Sure. Okay, Jay Presser for Alternative Wellness Group. I guess I open this up for any questions. Any questions?
Well, at least for the record, since
Awesome.
the board didn't hear the presentation, at least just give them a sense. I mean, the Plan Commission heard you say things that you were trying to create an upscale type environment. I think if you could just, for the record, tell us what you hope the store will be.
It's very important. As Bruce mentioned at the Planning Commission hearing, it's kind of unfortunate that the two agenda items were first cannabis and then CBD, because people tend to conflate these two. CBD is not marijuana. We do not have a THC license. We aren't going to have a THC license. Alternative Wellness Group is kind of the anti-head shop for all intents and purposes. When you go into the city right now, you can buy CBD at the gas station up the street, the Shell station. You'd be crazy to do so, but you can do it. When you go into a CBD shop in the city, they sell vaping pens, jewel pods, e-cigarettes. They have all the hookahs and all the bongs and things like that. Okay, they want to be head shops. They're waiting for recreational marijuana. Alternative Wellness Group is exactly the opposite. We decided before all the negative press with vaping that we aren't going to have any product that requires a tobacco license, any product that's no vaping, nothing at all whatsoever. A lot of our products are topical, healthcare, health and wellness. Our market is very heavily female, very heavily over 35. It is contrary to the notion of what we're trying to do to have any smokable products or any products that would be unsafe, which includes selling any products to children under 18 years old. There's no state or federal law that requires that. It's just been industry practice not to sell these products to people under 18, mostly because these types of stores often have vaping and cigarettes or whatever. There's usually an 18-year-old law. Now, of course, in Illinois, it's 21. So now these stores aren't selling, they can't sell the vaping products, etc. So that's how 18 got to be kind of the benchmark. it's interesting to point out, the only product, I should say, the only drug that has been approved by the FDA that has CBD in it is actually for juvenile epilepsy, which is kind of funny. Nobody will sell the CBD products off the shelf to juveniles, but the only drug approved by the FDA with CBD is actually for juveniles. We're going to have a very upscale boutique. It's not going to be cluttered with inventory. We will literally have white jackets. It's kind of a uniform. We want it to look like a professional, environment. So a lot of educational materials. That's our job, to educate people and to direct people to the information, specifically information on the FDA's website. I think I mentioned last time, Johns Hopkins, Harvard University, all these places. That's where we want to direct them if they have questions. Drug interactions. This is not advice we can give. The NIH, National Institutes of Health, I want to say, puts out a 30-page report of possible drug interactions with CBD. There really aren't any, but when someone walks into this shop, they're going to be able to look and say, hey, gee, I take Lexapro, or I take HCPZ for high blood pressure. Is there a contraindication with CBD? And they're going to be able to find out that it's not. We will advise everybody to speak with their doctor before they take any ingestible product. The idea, again, is an upscale boutique in an upscale environment. Simon lives 2 miles that way, I live 2 miles that way. Again, just that's the idea. We are very much a health and wellness store. That's our focus. Those are the groups we belong to. It's not CBD groups per se, it's the health and wellness, but this product is up and coming. We just want to be, frankly, on the wave. We do have small interest in businesses in the city. We're not owners or operators, but we see where the trend is. And based upon that trend, we chose things that we like, things that we don't like, and we said we're going to create a store in our neighborhood. That's it.
Any questions from the board? How about from the young end over here? Do you know what a head shop is? Well, that's from the era before you. Okay.
You're saying I'm not young?
I moved away
I
from
think he's saying this side's old.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
I never say that.